Welcome everyone, Dr. Thor here, and we're going to show you how to assemble your new laser stand unit. Generally, these come directly to you from China, and of course they come usually in a box like this. This is the actual box. I just got another laser, and we're going to show it to you, and we're going to assemble it here. Now, the lasers usually come in these kind of safety bags. I think they're safety bags. So you just take them out, take all your parts out. You also have a power supply, and you're going to get a power supply probably that's for your particular electrical system, because when we have them sent from the factory, they see where it's going and they then use the correct power supply. This is for Europe, and you can take this and put it aside for now. You'll get one that's for the United States if you're there, and if you're not, you'll get one generally for Europe. I'm not sure what other countries get, but you got to remember you have to watch that. Now, one of the things you always should look at, because you never know what you'll get, but you can see here when we tune, the camera can pick that up good. It says 100 to 240, which means this can plug into anybody's electrical system without a problem. So it can use as low as 100, and it can go as high as 240 so you don't burn it out. Its output is 5 volts, which is your typical plug-in type that you even get from USBs, etc. So you have that. You have your power supply. Now, the power supply as well, once you plug it in, has one of these kind of adapters, and you just plug it in like this, and you're ready to go. But we'll get back to that in a minute. Here's what the actual laser is held in, but let's open this up. This is the stand you get, which is quite nice. You may need to get a tool or two to tighten these down. I find these loosen up pretty easy. They give you actually even 3 screws, and I don't know if these are what you call go into the wall or whatever. Not sure on that, but you do have 3 screws that can actually be used to mount this. There's 3 mounts. If you want to mount that somewhere, let's say you want to use the screws in the actual into the wood. Now, if you've got to put it someplace permanent, you can actually screw it down. They actually give you the screws. That's very nice. This is very well made. It's good metals. Everything seems to be manufactured perfectly. It works well. So you take this screw off of here as I just did. You tighten this a little bit. And then, of course, you stick this down in here. Okay, this is the top where you're going to screw in this. As you can see on here, this is like, and this is like a camera mount, but this screws right in here, and we'll show you that in a minute. So you get this. And then you actually, to hold it in there, you put it in there, and then, of course, it's nice to use a wrench. Of course, this actually is a little long, but that's okay. You can shorten it if you want to by actually adjusting this screw here. So this screw can go down if you want it to have a little greater have it push up a little, because it's just slightly touching the actual top here. But one thing I found is that when you do that, you tend to, the screws aren't as tight. This is where you need to get yourself a little wrench and tighten it, and then you'll have that. It's still a little bit here. Let me adjust that yet again. Doesn't really hurt anything, and the laser doesn't have to be exactly on anything. As long as the laser is on the area, you're fine. I'll show that to you as well. So let's make sure we can see what's going on here. So I've adjusted that a little bit, then you put this back on. You can do that as high as you want to get this, and that's good enough. Now what you do is you have this. And there is a little trick here, because what they've got here for some reason or another is that they have an actual internal sleeve here. Now you have to take this out. What you have to do here is you have to loosen these screws up. and then you have to push this out and pull it out because it will not fit in to, let's try it again and see if this one does. I don't think it does. It doesn't fit in if you are going to use the laser. You can see how that laser itself will push it out. So it doesn't actually use that. Let's see if we can put it in the back way. But when I got my other lasers, it just won't fit. You get down there and it runs. So you can see here that when you put it through this way and you try and put this on here, it doesn't fit. So basically you can push it out even with that. So you got to take that sleeve out. As you said, this is very well made. It's machined properly. So they have all those little touches. Now this screws on here. Like this. And now you're set. Now, that's it. You're pretty much done. That's your stand. These are nice stands. You then, let's see if this will fit. Well, we're running into a little of the screws here. So these have to be really loose. But so you can get this in. Oh, wait a minute. What was that? It's not those screws. We've got the one in the center here. Let me back this out here. And again, it's one of those adjustable screws, similar to what we had the problem here with the stand. So you want to make sure that this is clear enough when you're looking inside here. You're going to make sure that that bolt is all the way out. Let me loosen this up again. I should say more in, I should say, not out. You got to make sure that let's unscrew this here. You got to make sure this bolt is out so that when you put this in and you tighten it down, and then you can turn this here to adjust it. You just want to see the top of, I don't know if you can see that well or not. You just want to see the top of the actual nut there, okay? And this is where you get that loosening factor here I was talking about, that you need to use tighten that really good there with a tool. But you want to make sure that that's not sticking out, because if it is, you can't get the laser in, as I just showed that. These, you can just hand tighten. You just stick it in there. You can have it coming out, and there's no particular need there. You just have it coming out about, what is that, ½ an inch. Then you just hand tighten these down. So, as you said, this is very well made and machined. It's an excellent little laser. And if you want to screw this down on your table or someplace, you could, but that stops you from moving it around. Basically, right now, you're done. And I have my electricity already set up here. So let me grab the electrical wire. And then you just simply plug it in. And voila, you see the laser coming there. Now, you can also turn this, because it's nice to have it and then retighten it a little. It's nice to have your laser kind of straight. Again, it doesn't matter. You also have ups and downs with this. So this can go up and down, and you have two adjustables, and this can bend over more by moving it like this. So it's quite adjustable and quite nice, and it seems to be quite well made. But again, you have this looseness in the stand that you're going to have to make sure that you use a tool on there. So basically, you want to have it something like this. I don't know how much you can see here. Yeah, you can see that pretty good in the camera, at least. And you've got this line here. And of course, that enables you to pick up a lot of area. Now, when you have a dot, and you may have dots, I'm not sure how long I can get lines like this. It isn't critical, but if you have a dot laser, which is just a laser, kind of what we would call a beam, and you see a dot like a pointer, those work well too. But I do like the line ones. Hopefully, we can continue to get them. If you don't get them, that's because they're unavailable. And, you know, parts change all the time. It's very difficult to continue to make upgraded pictures and videos, etc. You also get 4 discs. These are very important. This, while it pushes the energy for whatever the beam hits into the energy that's in the plate. So it's very, very important. So what you always do initially is you get your number one plate here, and this is going to say, usually it'll say number one disc on it, like this does. This is an energy transfer plate. It's like, so the energy goes in here and it transfers it to disc 2, which is this disc. And they look pretty much identical, but they have different energy signatures, numbers on here, which are very important. This picks up, excuse me. So it's very important that you use one, and they're marked here, underneath the first device, which is this. And this is where the energy is going to be transferred to that you hit with this particular laser. And what's nice with this, it does kind of fit in here nice. It gets stuck in the center there, so it kind of stabilizes it. The other thing you use is an activator disc. Now, this is for another device, but you'll get one, and I don't want to show people the exact, other than these, which may change as well. I don't like people to show the exact discs because I'm constantly changing everything. There's constant availability. But you'll get an activation disc, and it'll say activation. This says camera, but yours will say laser. So you'd put that underneath there because you're activating this. So this, of course, the activator disc sends the energy up into there and changes the energetic fields within the unit. Very critical. We are not using regular energies here. The other thing, to give everything a bunch of kick, almost everything that I offer, no matter what it is, whatever components in general, you're getting a tachyon, neutrino, graviton energy disc. So this just kind of gives everything a boost. This energy with the energies, this causes the energies that go into the antenna to transfer at a very powerful level. And there's many ways of using this. So again, you want to use Polaroid pictures. These are inexpensive to get. You can get them at anywhere, really. Amazon, some, I think they even have them in your local Walmart or maybe Targets or wherever. It doesn't really matter where you get them from. You can even get a used camera. The film is readily available around the world. You'd be surprised how many Polaroid type films and cameras are out there still, and people use them and love them. And there is a certain fascination and fun to them. But we're talking about, as the photons go out to create the image, which is on this side here, the image that's on there, what happens is that it develops here. But so the photons pick up the energy of the target, bring it back in here, put it in here, and then the chemicals work it. So what you've got is a very strong energy symbol. And of course, what you want to do with something like this is that when you have a camera, you need to get a camera activator disc. This you place under the camera for 24 hours initially. It will then change the camera's energy inside so it picks up it even stronger. And you can place your film on this as well. But very important, because having a strong signature, a strong witness is critical. Now again here, if you want to send the energy from something, like this basically would be called your in plate. This would be your out plate. So generally your out plate, you would put your photograph here, and whatever you put on here. So let's say you wanted to send tachyons. Well, you're doing it right now into this picture, which is this particular pet that has to be on there. So, so you're doing that right now. And whatever you put on here is going to be transferred into here at a very high level, because you're picking up this very special energy with photons, and specially changed photons. Very, very important. So, and you can leave your actual laser on for basically as long as you want. I mean, they are lights. If you leave them on 24/7, I'm not sure how many hours are in these units that you get. You generally don't need to do that. I mean, you don't have to be overly careful, but, you know, running something 24/7 doesn't necessarily make it better. The energy is being transferred once you're doing this. And another thing is, let's say you wanted to So leaving it on 2, 3, 4 hours is fine. If you want to leave it on longer, well, go ahead. As I said, I'm not sure what these are rated for. They probably would last months and months and months. I just don't know. These are fairly new to me too, so I'm not sure how long they're going to last. But I'm no longer in favor of leaving things on for long periods of time, except you're basically when you're using an amplifier and a transmitter. Those are generally left on all the time of the process. And again, here again, you got to tighten that up. Now, let's say you wanted to get an actual reading for something. So let's say you wanted to analyze this particular person, place, or thing. This happens to be a pet, and you wanted to get its, to find out information from that. Is that person under attack? Is this person sick? What type of thing? So what you're doing now is you're by taking this energy and making it into now what would be called force energies, it's being transferred over here. Okay, and that means that you would use this like the in plate. This is your witness plate. This is your out plate, which is also called the rubbing plate, which you would hold a pendulum over as well. Let me get my pendulum here. So by holding your pendulum over the out plates, you're now able to ascertain what's going on. Now, this is just, I haven't asked any questions, but we're just picking up, is there positive energy there? And yes, we're picking up positive clockwise spin, which means everything going on here is positive. Of course, we do have positive. We have all that tachyons and everything else. But if you wanted to send something to someone, and of course, what's nice about the laser, it's going to pick up almost anything. But remember the laws of force physics. If you try and use something physical, it's going to not send that energy very strongly. So it has to be in a non-physical or energetic nature. Similar to what we did here, we used to use more physical tachyons, neutrinos, and gravitons, but now they've been converted into an actual symbolic code. So we're able to transfer these energies. So let's say you just wanted to send these. These are all great energies, tachyons, neutrinos, gravitons. They are just all good for you, which we just saw there. So what you want to do is now you have that energy and it's being sent over to here. So you can put anything you want here. Send it to a person. If you want to charge something up, put crystals there or other things, the energies will flow into the crystals. So there's lots and lots of ways of using your laser. And also, it's a fantastic way of analyzing. So right now, we're going to be able to pick up something, and you could ask questions. Does this dog have proper nutrition? And of course, we're getting a good yes. If it was no, or maybe there's a problem, why does this dog have bad problems or cough or bad poo or whatever? You could go in and analyze that. So anything you put on here and the laser hits, and again, you don't have to keep it in that hole. Sometimes it's difficult. You just put it on there and you're able to hit it. And of course, I do like to cover as much as I can here. And again, you can adjust this. I don't want to make it too boring while I sit here for 5 minutes adjusting it. But once you get it adjusted and you get the beam here and everything else done correctly, you will then be able to, because you can turn it down here, and you'll have to get used to your equipment so that you can actually then, this way you have it. You don't have to change the stand. You just turn this and you can be able to have the beam straighter or cover more. So if you have the beam like this, and I don't know, can we see that? Yeah. And it's not covering as much, well, of course, you're not picking up as much energy. So if you want to get it to cover whatever the witness you have here as much as possible. So we're covering it all the way from here, all the way through it, so we're getting a really good aim. So now we're picking up all that energy. And then if we're seeking information, we want to make sure that we then ask that. Now, if you want to send something, again, you're sending this energy, but we have numerous different actual plates here where you could send yourself or someone else any kind of energy that you desire. Healing energy, wealth energy. Let me see if I can find one of these discs. Of course, all the units work best when you're using the discs provided for that you can buy additionally from this organization. As simple as that. So from Radionic Tech. Here's one that is actually for money. And so you always leave this stack the way it is because tachyons help everything. And we used to, as I said, glue things on, sacred images and everything else onto all these things, particularly our amplifiers and transmitters. We don't do that anymore. We replaced all of that stuff with discs. So you can keep it in the center here if you want to, and then adjust this. If you want to get even more, which is probably better, is you do it like this. Now we're picking up a whole bunch of this energy. And where is it going? It's going down. It's picked up the energy of success and money. It pushes it into the antenna. The antenna transfers it over to here. And then, of course, it will transfer it to whatever picture or witness you have of that person. Now, sometimes, of course, Polaroids are difficult to get of people. You have to have them close to you. You have to have that. Polaroids aren't as popular as they were. So it may be difficult. Use whatever you can. Remember, a drop of blood, hair, even a regular photograph, if you have to use that, is certainly something you should use. And that's probably what most people can have. Obviously, you can send somebody a picture over the internet and you can print it out. And you always print it out in color. And you then could use it here as well. But remember that all hurts the transmission of energy. So whenever possible, always use Polaroid pictures and make sure you have transmuted them with the proper disc and your camera is activated. So you can buy any camera you want. And we used to sell them, but this became cumbersome and problematic. Now all we do is actually get your own camera. Buy it as cheap as you can. Film is pretty much can be gotten inexpensively over eBay and other places. So you can get it and you can get film just about anywhere as well. But the camera doesn't matter. We're not looking for fancy pictures. Polaroid pictures in general are pretty junky. So the whole idea if you to get a good picture out of a Polaroid is not very easy. So we do have to be careful there. But it doesn't matter. We're not looking for pictures that you're going to save. These are energy signatures. And generally, these are good for about 6 months to a year, depending on the problem. But after that, people's energies change. And since these are energy signatures, it's good to have a new photograph of somebody 6 months to a year after you've used the first one. So it's just as simple as that. Now, there's many other ways of doing things. And of course, we're coming up with a mini radionic unit as well, which will use our new mini amplifiers, which you could put on top of here. And then you put the photograph under there, and then this turns on, this lights up. And that is a mini radionic machine that you have right there. So you send whatever energies you want here. And you could also write something on here. If you want to write something, always using symbols and other things, but you could also write your request on there, whatever that may be, what you want to happen, and follow it up. So it's always a good idea if you're using money and you're asking for money that you clarify that by not only using the money disc, but you put on there 1,000, 2,000, 10,000, whatever it is. It's always good to specify because what does needing money mean? Well, that's a good question. And when you put that into the universe, so to speak, it can get confused. It may bring you $500 when you needed $5,000. It's always good to clarify it so the energetic realities of life are able to manifest what you need and not just whatever it decides to give you. So, but that doesn't come with this. That's something extra if you want to get. This is what you get with your light. That's how you put it together, and it's very simple. Now, there are other ways to use it. If you have one of our boxes, you can use it in the boxes. Here's one of our new boxes that have 8 hertz generators. You can put it here like this. This is a great way to take a basic instrument that you may not have a laser with and make it into a pretty advanced unit. Now, this unit with the proper, well, it doesn't have the disc on it. This is would have a disc underneath it. I took it to use it here. This is then going to send the energy over to this disc here, which is the amplifier. And of course, what we do in our advanced unit is it goes through a whole process and then it goes to an actual transmitter. But the most important thing is to get it into a manifesting tube amplifier. Very important. Tubes are very critical, just like photonic waves from lasers. But this is another way to actually send that energy there. And of course, whatever you put in here ultimately will come out over here, and you would put the photo there because that's where it would be to use it. So, it's as simple as that. But by doing this, you're able to do it. And if you have a written command, you would want the laser to hit the written command, etc. A lot of what I really do now is I use two. I put the written command and I put the actual there, and you can say, well, and this is the way you add disks to these. So if you want money energy into this disk, you just put a disk in. Isn't that fantastic? Protection, love, uncrossing, whatever it may be, you just put it in there. Now the laser is picking up the energies which are in here, which are a combination of energies. Usually there's numbers here. There is a special sound code in the disk itself. And of course, you can put your desire in there. So if it's money again, $500. And you can use two photographs. You can also put a photograph here, which is now pushing all that energy, mixing it together. And then one over here, which is on top of the amplifier, which also serves as a broadcast. But we like to combine the two now because, it's, I hate cutting prices and giving people not really what they need. So the bottom line is you need to have all the proper tools to get the results that you want, and cutting a little corners generally it is not a good idea because you just, you don't get good success. So what's the point of it? But we are coming up with mini units, which will be coming out using this cool little amplifier. And we will be showing those as well. But that's basically the use of it. It's very simple. So, but in general, if you have another type of unit, we're going to show you a typical type radionic unit. Now, if you have a typical type of radionic unit and you just want to boost all the energies, well, you shine the laser. And of course, this has a case on it, so it's hard to get the laser in the proper spot. But let's mess with it a little. Well, I guess it kind of works. And again, you would just prop it on here. Now, if this top was off, you could probably stick this under, and it'll similar to what happened here. Is that you can? Well, let's try it here. There we go. Let's go in the back here, and let's tighten this up again. As I said, you got to get that. And remember, this is adjustable. It doesn't have to be going straight down. It just has to hit the plate, and you can adjust it how you desire on there. There we go. You can see it in the film actually better. So here we go. Now whatever you put on your in plate is now going to go through your unit. And it's going to send the energy out there at a super intensity. So if you're tuning something in, this makes tuning very easy. And more importantly, is that it's precise instead of the crappy kind of tune. Oh, lay something on top of here and the energy flows in. Oh, that's genius. Sounds like something that the goofball manufacturers would do, you see all over. Oh, yeah, the U.S. Goofball Association probably do something like that. So the whole idea is that this is what you do. So now whatever you put on here. So if you want to analyze a person, again, you're taking their photograph, you're putting it on here, and you can see how that is now doing it. You can see this is a fantastic one of my original type units of many years ago, but it even has a little thing to hold this. Really beautiful unit. But you can see now that it's picking up the energy. It's pushing the energy from the Polaroid into the camera at a very high level. Meaning that now when you try and analyze it or get rates for something, your accuracy is through the roof. So if you have any kind of skill of doing any kind of dowsing, you're going to get fantastic results when you use a laser in this fashion. And, it's really limitless. So if you want to put certain energies, here's a very advanced energy plate, which has all sorts of magical energies in it. And of course, generally, it's always, once you want to take the energies from here and you want to send it to somebody else on a typical machine, is that you would then do that. So the energies now, they're in this plate, are now going to this person here, and you would dial in either the energy from here or the person. It's kind of up to you to do that if you're just using that. Now, in general, of course, our machines, of course, go through amplifiers and everything. If you're not using an amplifier, the problem is you're projecting weak energy, even though this laser is an amplification unto itself. So it does help amplify, but nothing beats an amplifier like this here. Nothing beats like that. A 2-tube amplifier like this are fantastic. They're strong, they're powerful. They take these very weak energies that are difficult to grab, and through our special activation plates, and everything comes with an activation plate, no matter what tool you have. There's an activation plate for this, and there's an activation plate, and they're all different. They're going to have different codes on it for the tube amp, and there's an activation plate for the transmitter, and each box has it, and all of our tools have activation plates now. These are very important and to the entire process. And of course, you can always add the universal. You can always add more things in. So if you want to stack your plates on here, and this is why we have our boxes, because they work a lot better than using this kind of old way. But you can do that. Now it's picking up the energies from here, picking up the tachyons, and sending it out. Now, the best thing to do, of course, is that, like we just showed you over here, is you just pop your plates in. What a fantastic and ingenious system that is. So you can stack lots of different plates in there, and that's how this system works. And then if you want to give it a boosty-goo, a bop-a-booey-goo, and again, you can adjust the laser. Tighten that up again. You can adjust the laser any way you want here. As long as it's going through, you want to get it through as most of the plate you can. My wire here is a little short, so it's pulling it down there. And of course, that's why they also have screws here where you could screw something down, or you could adjust it a little more. As I said, you do all that yourself to figure out what works best for you. But now we're pushing anything that's here. This has money, this has tachyons, this has a broadcasting plate in it. You've got pyramid energies here. So when all of this energy is going in here, it's going down into this transmitter underneath here, which is then moving it over here to be amplified, and then moving it over here to be broadcast. That's how it works. That's the system. It's not really complicated. This is really cutting edge, new radionic tech that is unbeatable. The old electromagnetic copper wire nonsense is a thing of the past. You don't need wires. We're not using anything that's in the electromagnetic spectrum. Radionics is not electromagnetic in nature. If you're using, quote, frequencies or Rife-type machines, people have wires and they create certain frequencies that are in a frequency spectrum. These are not in those spectrum. So it's ridiculous. As a matter of fact, putting these energies through copper wires and copper plates makes them less powerful. And that's the nature of it. There's only a very tiny bit of these energies that are in the electromagnetic spectrum. And those will transfer naturally anyway. So hope that's clear. And as usual with all of our products, all you've got to do is... take the stress off of that. All you've got to do if you have a question is make sure that you email me, and I'm more than happy to walk you through it. But hopefully these films here really make the process clear and understood so you know how to use it. And the uses are limitless, people. You use lasers like this to pick up energies. The photons go in there. Photons grab all sorts of energy. You got to remember this, to a lot of people, if you know what it is called fiber optics. And fiber optics is when you use a laser to pick up information and transport it down a plastic center tube. So that's all it is you're sending photons down a plastic tube, and this is the finest way to move massive amounts of data without losing any of it. That's why everyone's converted over to it, your cable companies, etc. Computers eventually will be run this way. And this is the cutting edge, and you're getting it right now in a simple and inexpensive format. So it's important to understand all those. And as I said, if you have any questions or have any difficulties, we're always here to help. So we welcome anybody's questions and any type of help they may need. So with that, until next time.